Hey everyone, this is Heidi St. John. Thanks for tuning in today. You guys have found me at my little holiday corner of the internet. And today, my friend Kristi Clover is back on the podcast, and we are going to be encouraging you guys to keep your sanity in the holidays. Stick around. I think you're going to be encouraged. All right, so thank you guys for joining me over here at the Off the Bench podcast, where we are helping you guys get off the bench and onto the battlefield. Just want to say a quick shout out to everybody who's listening to this, who has just survived the California elections and the Washington elections and the Oregon elections. You guys heard me say that Christine Drazan lost her bid for the governorship of Oregon. And now Oregon is stuck with probably the worst progressive, crazy-headed liberal Democrat in the history of Oregon. So that was a stunning loss. And in the middle of all the political craziness, you guys, we're coming into the most wonderful time of the year. And by the most wonderful time of the year, I mean Thanksgiving. You guys know it's my favorite holiday. I like it better than Christmas because it's all the yummy food without the pressure of the gift giving. I asked my friend Kristi Clover to come on and give you guys a little shot in the arm so that you don't wind up crabby for Christmas. We want you to be cheerful. And so we're going to be talking about organization through the holidays. Kristi Clover, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. It's such a joy to be here.
Well, it's always fun to have you on. And you and I, right before we started, just commiserating because you live in wackadoo crazy California and I live in crazy Washington. And people tease you, right? They're like, why don't you leave?
Oh, yeah. We have so many friends. I feel like when things have been going crazy forever in California. Like Reagan left and then that was it.
Reagan left and it was all sort of downhill after that.
It was downhill after that. Yeah. But everyone's always, leaving. Like, I feel like every week we hear about someone new and it's getting closer and closer. Before it's like you heard of friends. And now it's like dear friends are leaving the state.
I know.
And so much pressure. But, here we are. And we have an awesome church. So
and that's hello. And like I said on my podcast yesterday, we could all just bail if we wanted to, but there's no guarantee. People say run to the red state. Well, what is a red state? You have a red state for one election, and then another election could come and you'd have a blue state, and then you would have left the place that you loved and gotten someplace where you didn't love, and now you have to rethink your life, which isn't necessarily always a bad thing, but there's some to be said for just hunkering down and trying to be a blessing where you are.
Yeah. And we have different things. Both my husband and I pray about it constantly. And we have different things that are kind of our line in the sand. And right now, California, believe it or not, it's almost scary to say it because I'm like, shh, don't tell anyone. But we're one of the easiest states to homeschool in. It's like completely ironic because we have like the power of different legal organizations and these great grassroots, connections here. And so they are on top of everything legislature-wise that comes in to attack our freedoms.
Yeah.
So we're very blessed by that.
You have to just, at the end of the day, you have to be where God wants you to be. Yeah. I mean, this is the story of Bonhoeffer. When he saw things were going crazy, he moved his family to Safe Harbor in Canada. And then he went back and he lost his life as a result, right? But he followed what the Lord wanted him to do, and we're just passing through. So if we spend our lives running to greener pastures, eventually we're going to run out of green pastures to run to because this world is not our home. And so I'm not afraid. I don't even feel discouraged. I mean, I'm just like, stay and fight, girl. So
well, and big picture, I'm like, Jesus needs to come. So I'm like, people need Jesus, and people need to come.
Do.
And then the big picture also is that I feel like it's all the political stuff. It's all a ruse to take our attention off the fact that this world really, truly, like the big thing, forget about all the propositions and who's in power. People need Jesus. They need you to see you shining the light of Jesus in their lives. And so that's, I think, what people have to like stop focusing over here and focus on what's most important.
Yeah, it's the gospel. I mean, it's the gospel that changes people. And if we can get the gospel out to the masses, it follows that their political point of view would change as well. Although, and this is a whole conversation for another day. You got the crazy progressive church, and then the gospel didn't help those people. So I don't, we got issues. So let's not talk about them anymore today, Kristi. Let's talk about Thanksgiving.
I love Thanksgiving.
Let's talk. And you have written a book Because last time you were on, you were talking about your book. You've written a book on home organization. So tell listeners about it really quick.
So I wrote a book called MOM, Master Organizer of Mayhem, and it's all about bringing simple solutions into your life to bring about more joy. It's really targeted for moms with kids because we need to find efficiency hacks, and we also need to find ways to give ourselves grace. And I find that when you are being more efficient and giving yourself grace, the joy follows.
That's right. You had me at simple.
Right?
You had me at simple. I was the mom when I started homeschooling. I mean, this was, long time ago, but I was looking for the curriculum was like easy grammar.
Oh yeah.
Easy writing. If it had the word easy in it or simple in the title, I'm going to pay $15 and figure out what that's about. I'm sold. And really the holidays, they can be stressful. We hear it's the most wonderful time of the year and whatever. And it's also the time when mom loses her ever loving mind because she's trying to be involved in the Christmas cookie exchange. And you've got, 40 people coming over for Thanksgiving and life still goes on. Your kids still have piano lessons. You're still homeschooling. You've just added this unique stress to your situation. So I want to hear, well, let's start with Thanksgiving because that's the one that's coming right up. Is it next week? For goodness sake.
It is next week. Yes. No, I had to double check that.
What is going on?
I know. Well, my life has been so crazy lately. I'm like, wait, it's not this week. Right?
I know.
So it's next week. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. We have a group thread for going in my family right now. I've actually used a Sign Up Genius this year to sort of simplify my life.
Ooh.
And I made slots for like what we need for main dishes and side dishes. And then my daughter, Sierra, who just got married, texted me and she's like, what do you want me to bring for a side dish? And all my sisters were like, oh girl, you're on your own. Check out the Pioneer Woman. Like she'll help you.
It's really awesome.
But it's helping. That little Sign Up Genius thing is helping because now I can see how many people are coming and who's bringing what. And it's wonderful.
It's so helpful. And I think that is one of the big keys. I kind of have a rule, like I'll only make one or two things completely from scratch for any big holiday. Then I'm all about having other people help out. I mean, especially for holidays like this where, it's not hard. Like I'm actually not hosting this year for the first time in forever because we just hosted a wedding and an engagement party and two graduation. We had so many things we've been hosting. So my husband's like,
you're hosted out.
No, we're not doing it. So I'm like, okay. And I started to fight him on it. Like, come on, I love hosting Thanksgiving. And I'm like, no, I'm tired. So
yeah, be tired. It's okay. It's okay.
That's part of it too, is that it's like, why do we force all this stuff? Like I love hosting, but when my mother-in-law volunteered, I was like, okay, that's what we're going to do this year. And that's okay. And I'm bringing mashed potatoes. So I don't even have to make a turkey this year.
Oh my goodness. Well, that'll save you $150.
Right? Yeah. Cause we fry it. Deep frying turkey. But like the peanut oil that you have to buy is like $50 pretty much. Like get it into it is ridiculous. Well, I should say that's exaggerating. It's like $35, but still I'm like, $35. Yeah. I'm like, how many times can I reuse this? And like, everything's like, oh, don't reuse it. I'm like,
oh no, you can reuse it, girl. Oh no, yes, you can.
Do you reuse it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I probably was looking up the wrong stuff then. The people who are just like, don't eat cookie dough. That's probably
No, and I eat cookie dough too. So, I mean, I'm taking my chances with the salmonella. I'm eating the cookie dough. So what are your top suggestions to the mom who's just now going, all right, I'm going to lose my mind. Yeah. And I don't know where to start. I always think it's simple, simplify things. How can you help her simplify her life?
Well, believe it or not, I actually do have a little, it's a holiday meal planning guide, and that does help. But like the basics of how to just right here, right now, figure it out is you can take a piece of paper and you write down what you want your menu to be. You ask people to bring certain things and just know you don't have to make things from scratch. Buy the buns. Don't make them from scratch.
Hello.
Don't try to like all the little things.
That.
Right? Oh, cranberry sauce, it's delicious.
It comes
homemade.
in a can.
Right? Like there are times for those delicious homemade things, but what I try to do is spread things out too. So like if the cranberry sauce really is my favorite thing that we have, then that might be that one of the homemade dishes I make, or I make it after Thanksgiving when I have time and I'm using the leftovers. And then it's not as much of like a stress of I have to have this one item. Or you can pass on the recipe to another family member and ask them to make it if you want to, but that not to put stress on them. Like bring a can or here's a recipe.
Here are the options, and we're happy either way. But if you're in a space in your life where you've got the time and you've got the, the sort of peace in your heart, then make it from scratch. I think it's more power to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I would say the other thing, like, as far as when you're getting ready for Thanksgiving or, again, any holiday, you really just have to step back and think to yourself, like, what's most important? What am I going to remember most about this? Yes, food is delicious and you want it to be delicious, but it's also the time with family. So I think that's where it's just, you don't want to lose your ever-loving mind. Like you were saying, you want to enjoy it. So sometimes you have to just force yourself, step back, relax, take it in, because everybody's been there. I think, and it's a difference between I remember when I was like a young mom, we just celebrated our 25th anniversary. So I remember the first Thanksgivings. But I remember those first few Thanksgivings where I was putting so much pressure on myself and I was literally like dripping with sweat, trying to get everything done, everything to the table. And I was trying to live up to what I thought everyone else's expectations were, like what the holiday should look like, instead of just trying to create a beautiful, wonderful, fun, easy, meal and a gathering together. So I think that you just kind of have to chill out. And my other big tip, don't use real china because you got to wash it by hand.
Oh, girlfriend, no. I just told everybody I'm using my china once a year. So here's the thing. Here's what I discovered with china. Usually I just tell the women as they come in, especially if my older daughters are coming, which they all are, I just say, hey, could you guys please stay for a half an hour when everything's done and just help me clean up? I think there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And so whether you choose to, throw everything away because you're using paper plates, which by the way, Costco has really, really cute Thanksgiving paper plates right now. I'm not going to lie. They're really cute.
I have to go look. I haven't seen those yet.
They're very, very cute. But I think there's something to be said for also asking people to stay and help clean up. And if you're the mom who doesn't mind the mess and you can go to bed knowing that the downstairs looks like a train just ran through it, that's fine. But if you're going to somebody's house for dinner, help them out. I mean, there's something to be said for that, right?
Oh, yeah. And I think that when we always jump in and help my mother-in-law. Like we get there early to help her finish prepping, and then we help her afterwards. And I think when you are the one that it's kind of like not to use like sewing and reaping, but kind of like when you're helping, like that's an example to other people. It's just, and now my kids jump in and help. And so oftentimes we're trying to train them up to be like, to see things like, hey, we're all still talking here as adults. Would you mind grabbing plates and taking them into the kitchen? And while you're there, maybe scraping the stuff, so just training your kids in those other things and training them how to help. And then when people are at your house, then it doesn't feel as awkward. Like, no, I expect to be treated like a queen when I arrive at your home. And so come and serve me at my home now. Like that doesn't fly too well.
No, it doesn't. And I think that it kind of honors the spirit of Thanksgiving anyway. It's teamwork. It's coming together and figuring out, hey, we've had the last 2.5 years have been rough. And I think there are a lot of people now who are just starting to come out of it. We're starting to see people, gathering again. And I hope that people start asking their neighbors to Thanksgiving dinner, starting to do something, different. Like maybe you're taking a meal to to an elderly person, or maybe you're cooking up a batch of homemade rolls and you're taking them to your neighbors. There's something precious about engaging, just with those simple acts of kindness this time of year.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't have to be all on one day. Like spread it out. So you're cooking these things on Thanksgiving. You're going to cook these things for some neighbors. You're going to cook, I like spread it out. So that way it's not all
you're
falling
coming up
at
with
one
a plan.
time.
Yeah. You have a really great way of encouraging moms, especially who are listening, by just saying, come up with a plan. I'm going to take a quick break. And when we come back and see if you and I can wade through the water of planning for Christmas, we'll be right back. All right, Kristi. So think about Christmas with me for just a minute. Let's just think about it.
It's right tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Let's think about it. I'm wondering, so last time you and I were talking on the show about the importance of having a plan, right? Mm-hmm. So we do a lot better when we don't just do things haphazardly. And we've got about a month now before Christmas, a little over a month's coming right up. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. And hopefully people need to have their turkeys thawing right now, by the way. If you have a big old turkey in your freezer, get it out. Now's the time, because it takes several days to thaw those bad boys. But I want to
sink girl.
I am too. Stick it in the sink. Mm-hmm. Yep. Put it in the sink. Put it in the sink. I'm curious, for with the idea of simplifying Christmas. And this is rough. This is a rough one because the economy's in a free fall. Inflation has just boosted the cost of everything under the sun. And there are a lot of people who may be used to buying a lot for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. They're not going to be able to do it this year. And I am thinking, and I've been, it's kind of in my own heart, just writing down, because my family's growing like yours, right? So, we have 7 kids. You guys have 5? Is it 5 kids?
We have 5 kids and a new daughter-in-law. So this is my first interview since I have a daughter-in-law.
Oh, I love it. It's so much fun. Oh my goodness. I love it. And so your family, like mine, is growing. And there comes a point when you have to start getting judicious. I mean, you're not quite there yet, but I've got, 3 in-laws and grandchildren. Wow. And so we're starting to look at the family gift list with my older kids and say, how can we simplify this? So what are your thoughts when it comes to simplifying Christmas and gift giving, and so that we can really focus on the relationship, the wonder of Christmas? It's such a precious time of year. And I think so many moms are just worn out and exhausted. And by the time it comes around, we're not getting the joy out of it because we're just immersed in the planning and the working.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, I think the big thing I have all these weird little planners, but I have a traditions planner. And on that, where
do people find these planners?
So actually you can get, I think that is one of my freebies. So if you go to kristiclover.com/sanity, that gets you a free copy of my Sanity Savers for Moms. And along with that comes some printables. And I have a traditions printable for that. But what I like to do, because Christmas, it's like, really, truly, you almost need a whole page for December, right? Because that's what we think of. But I try to think of what traditions can I move to other parts of the year. So we're not doing a gingerbread house, like maybe we're doing a Valentine's house. So we're, decorating it with a little candy hearts or something like that. So you're kind of spreading out traditions throughout the year instead of just all of it hitting to December. And that to me saves me a lot of, sanity and just wherewithal, and it keeps me going. And that way we can put more energy into the traditions that we're actually trying to pull off that year. And I honestly, sometimes I just cross them off. It's not going to happen. And so I just cross them off, and that's okay, because we'll do it here or there, and it doesn't have to be every year. But as far as gift getting, because I want to hit on that, I do make a list, and we communicate with our extended family, because my sister-in-law has 4 kids, and 2 of her kids are married. We've got 2 grandbabies on that side. So when we come together as a big old family, there's a lot. And so I think it's good communication. So I know some families will divide up and everybody draws a name. Or maybe we kind of go to everybody's just going to get the little kids or under this age. They're going to be the ones that get a gift. So we've done a lot of different things. So for my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, we get them a gift, but together, a family gift for them, and not individual. But it really comes down to good communication. So that way, there's nothing worse than this year we're not getting gifts, and the other person is hey, here, look at this expensive gift we got you. But good communication, and then also just having a game plan. So write your list. Black Friday is my day to hit hard. So when I make a list of the people that I want to get gifts for, that's when I start really praying over. I pray over gift giving because I want to be a blessing to them. And I feel like sometimes when I pray and I give it to the Lord, this sounds silly, but I feel like I'm inspired. I feel like sometimes things will come to mind a little more easily. So you can look up gift guides and things like that as well. But, kind of having a game plan and also not being afraid to make gifts, because those can sometimes be really precious too. Because I know, put a photo of my family in front of me and I'm just the happiest girl ever. But homemade gifts, I think sometimes can be really special. In fact, I think it was 3 Christmases ago, I made a family tree. It's this little plaque, and I had a little cutout of a tree, and I made a little ton of faces for the family tree. And of course, now we've already had so many weddings and more babies, so I have to update that. But just did little, little salt ornaments and just made little people. And it was a labor of love, but it was definitely more affordable.
Well, and I wonder too, so I was thinking this year, because I wanted to focus some more on just doing things with my youngest daughter, Sailor, and our grandkids, about really putting things on the counter and giving yourself some breathing room in between things. So maybe if you decide we're going to do sugar cookies, you do sugar cookies on the 3rd of December. And if, like some of us have birthdays in December. So there are, I think, 4 birthdays in my family in December.
Ooh,
that really ramps it up, man. My sister Hope, her birthday is December 26th, which is like the worst day of the year. Everyone's just like, oh, no. But we're, that poor Hopi, like celebrate you. But our daughter Sailor is the born on the 3rd of December. I've got another daughter born on the 13th of December. And what we noticed was these kids can really feel lost in the shuffle. And so if they know that you've got a plan and that plan was developed in advance and you thought, hey, we're going to set the Christmas thing aside and we're just going to actually do the birthday thing, it really does make those kids feel special. And it's important because we can talk about, we'll celebrate your birthday, 6 months from now. But everybody knows it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. No, you got to make time to make people feel special. And I think that's whether you have a birthday or not. But yeah, my sister-in-law, her birthday is on the 17th of December and her name is Holly. And she was originally Clover, so she was Holly Clover. So she was a double planter. But yeah, so I think it's cute. She's a little Holly, Christmas Holly.
So cute. It's so sweet. In the few minutes that we have left, what are the favorite things that you tell moms to do when it comes to Christmas morning? I don't know if you guys have traditions at your family on Christmas morning, but we've moved them around. So we've done something on Christmas Eve. We almost always would do something on Christmas Eve. I like to keep my Christmas mornings pretty quiet. And, but it's mostly because my kids are getting older and I don't have very many kids at home anymore. What are some of your favorite traditions for Christmas Eve and Christmas morning?
Okay. So Christmas Eve, we typically are having dinner at my mother-in-law's and then we come home and we prep the sticky buns for the morning.
Ooh,
so those can rise overnight. And then in the morning, and then I will admit, like as much as I'm a planner, like it doesn't matter if I write down wrap gifts. Right. Christmas Eve, I am up until midnight wrapping and finishing things.
Right.
It always happens. And we do stockings, but we kind of have these cute little traditions that started when I was a kid. There's always an orange in the, at the toe. That has a whole tradition to it. But at the top, there's always a sugar cereal because we don't eat a lot of sugar cereals in the home. So it's like, and now they have like the cup, the bigger ones.
Yep.
And so when the kids come down, no one's allowed down. So Christmas morning, no one's allowed down. And I usually am sticking the cinnamon rolls or the sticky buns in the oven. But everybody comes down at the same time. And this is going to be the first year I don't have 2 of my kids in the house. So it's going to be very different. But the little kids still be excited.
So different.
So crazy. But we come down and we always do stockings first. And then we eat our little sugar cereals and eat our oranges. And so that's kind of the little thing while the rest of breakfast is kind of starting to waft into the room. And then we'll take a break to eat. And then we come back and then we just rotate gift giving. And I think that has been one of the most precious things to us. It's one of my favorite parts is what everybody gives everybody a gift in our immediate family. And so watching my little kids who have spent sometimes anywhere from $1 to $5 getting their big brothers something, and they're just so excited for them to open it. Like they're like jumping up and down in front of them. And I'm usually videoing the whole thing, which I'll probably never go back and watch all of that video. But they're just so excited. And then everybody's trained to be like, yay, thank you. I always wanted socks, but it's just so sweet to watch everybody go around and just, we're that slow opening family. Everybody opens one gift at a time. Steve and I are usually done pretty quickly because the kids usually have more gifts, but it's just a really sweet time. And I just think it's neat to see the generosity that is there too. And then usually if we don't finish and the timer is going off on the sticky buns, then we'll take a break and go to sticky buns. And then we just have a relaxed day. And at some point in the evening, I'm making dinner, but it's usually like ham that, and I've got Hawaiian rolls. Like Christmas morning or Christmas dinner for me, I keep it super simple. It's stuff that I'm just placing in the oven. I'll make some mashed potatoes, but I have been known to buy them. So, as much as
there's some good ones at the store now too. They have garlic mashed potatoes that you can, there really are so many ways that we can make it easy and simple and just go easy on yourself. I think moms
yeah.
need to hear that. Go easy on yourself because
Make
you only get so many Christmases, and like you're discovering our kids move out, right?
It's
And
so
so
horrible.
I've got,
I feel like no
I
one warned me of
know
that. I know, like it's like
they
the whole,
don't
like
warn
root,
you.
like you have roots and you give them wings. Like I was focused on the roots. I'm like, wait, why are you leaving my nest? Like, isn't my nest comfortable?
Right.
It's so nice and fluffy. Do you need more feathers in here? I'll take them off myself and put them in.
I know. It's really, it really is, especially for moms who are in that transition season. It can be really difficult. And I think you make it easier on yourself when you take a couple of days aside and just spend it just enjoying your people. Get out a board game, do something that is just relaxing, buying things that are ready made, because there's a lot of grief, I think, that goes along with seasons of change. And even if it's a good thing, like your son getting married is a really good thing.
So sweet.
But it's still a big change. It's still a big shift in your family. And every time, I mean, of our 7 kids, 5 of them have moved out now. And so every time one of the kids moves out, it upsets the equilibrium in the home, right? We're all trying to figure out, okay, what do we do now? Things don't look different, or things don't look the same. But I think just establishing those new traditions, making sure that the kids are still at home, the ones who are still there know you're thrilled that they're home, that you love them, and that your family is going to look a little bit different this year. And that's okay. It's good.
Yeah. And having those good traditions to fall back on too. Like we're still going to do a lot of our traditions, even though we're missing a few. We're still going to do those so that it doesn't feel like too big of a gaping hole.
Yeah. And it's important for those kids, for the younger ones who are still at home, that you don't go, well, yes, your old brother's gone. I guess we're not going to do that anymore. They'll be like, what am I? Chop liver? Like, yeah, they need to know that you do those traditions because you're a family and that's what your family does. And I think traditions are so important, and they sort of remind us, to be thankful, to slow down, to take some time. And I, for one, am really looking forward to 2022 being over. I think I told my husband we're planning a kick 2022 to the curb party.
Ooh.
And that's going to be fun. I think it'll be really good. Yeah.
I think you're onto something. I'm ready.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, isn't that what the Bible says? Forgetting what is behind, press on toward the goal of heavenward, pressing on. That's what we're doing. We're going to keep our eyes focused. Where can people find you online? I want to be sure that people can find you, because you've got an awesome website. You're doing awesome things for moms.
Thank you. Well, KristiClover.com is really the hub for everything. You can find links to everything and everywhere that I am there. If you do KristiClover.com/sanity, you can get that free Sanity Savers book that has all of the printables that go along with it, a meal planners and traditions planners and a routine planner. And I explain how to use those things in there. But I'm mostly on Instagram. I'm trying to get back to YouTube. I have a ton on YouTube already. So if people have nothing better to do in a day, they can go and watch YouTube. But that's it has been the weird thing for me, because like so much of I feel like over the years I'm like, get off of social media. I'm like, but maybe just you can go watch me on YouTube, or you can go check out what we can. But no, I'm mostly on Instagram these days, and putting things together. I have little courses here and there. I love helping families and encouraging families in their homeschool and in their home.
And it's really important. I think you're really taking on a lot of the mantle of just encouraging the generation of families to really settle into and enjoy and appreciate family life. And there's never a better time of the year to kickstart that than the holidays. So, Kristi Clover, it's just a joy to have you, my friend. Thank you for coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
If you guys want more information, Kristi's fantastic and I love her, and I know you guys will love her too. So check it out at KristiClover.com. If you want that free book, go to KristiClover.com/sanity and get some sanity back this holiday season. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll see you back here again after the weekend at the intersection of faith and culture. For more encouragement, visit me online at momstronginternational.com.